Disclaimer: the CQT is regarding the Artemis missions, which I did not read up about, and my wording should show, as I've mentioned, not knowing about this specific topic, but having looked into it a bit more, the things I've said in this video should still be applicable enough, although can use quite a bit of fine tuning.
Thank. And for
What's up?
example, I have one question for you. It's interesting, but I don't know if it's true or not. I really one interview. You remember the people, the USA going to the moon in this time?
The people that went to the moon
Yes, and try to the going to the moon.
right now?
Yes, I don't remember,
Oh,
but prepare one
yes.
ship for going to the.
I know one of the person that went to the moon.
But I read in this
In terms of
interview
atomic
and say
energy,
the
it's like I said
the
earlier, there's
people, the
fission and there's
Earth not
fusion.
going to the moon, and the year the in the moment the I'm born in 1969, one six no 1969. In this year, the first time going to the moon, and
Okay.
in this time destroy house in the moon and use the atomic energy. Maybe it's true. I don't know. It's it's lie. But you remember, you believe the men make these things, in your opinion?
Well, I don't know how to respond to that because I don't really know what this moon trip is. I'll have to look it up. But I know one of the persons going to the moon because I went to high school with him.
And this interview say they destroy the this part of the moon for one reason: the discovery many buildings in the moon, but this building is the other species, and exists many problems in this part.
I guess it's this one right here.
Mm-hmm. And but maybe these people going to the dark part of the moon.
I guess.
Yes, I reading one interview and say the going to discover the dark part of the moon.
Yeah. Which would be interesting because it's probably a less explored area, I
Uh-huh.
guess.
And this reason did not return the men on the moon in 50 years for the atomic energy and the consequence, no?
Don't know. Because I don't know enough to be able to respond to this.
But
But
you believe, for example, you believe the atomic energy live 50 years?
well, in terms of atomic, okay, so if we talk about the science of radiation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's fission and fusion.
Mm-hmm.
Fission is when they break apart, I think, and
Mm-hmm.
fusion is when you fuse it together when you're trying to combine them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the whole idea of radioactive isotopes, um, there's so you can even go back to as far as carbon dating, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there's this idea where you have an atom or a particular type of molecule or atom or something like that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
over time it decays. So there's something called the half-life, where within a specific amount of time, it
Mm-hmm.
decays halfway through, right? So this is something that you would learn in chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what they mean by if there's something atomic there, because what you do is like if if there's some sort of matter that's on the moon, or if you place some type of matter on a moon, right? And then you just let it sit there. Over time,
Hmm.
it may decay, right? So because of that decay, then you can kind of start to um get a life or like a timeline of the life, right? This is
Hmm.
how like we know on Earth that the Earth has been around for whatever billion or million years because of
Hmm.
that system of trying to do that carbon dating, I guess, right? You take a carbon atom and you kind of figure out like the life of it because of that sense of decay, right? Um, so that's kind of like what they would be if it's radioactive, I think that's the only thing I can think of that relates to that because otherwise I would not know. It may be something where like they have something with them and they're going to place it on the moon in terms of
Hmm.
atomic energy. But who knows? I'll just have to read more because I didn't really do a good job reading into it. Um, but seeing that you said that, maybe it's worth reading into.
Yes. I'll say other thing in my case, I interesting is the gravity is different in the moon and the earth,
Yep.
and the make the work the atomic energy in the moon is different. I don't know,
Well,
not to understand the
well,
say in this
like,
moment.
of course it's different because, in terms of the physics of it, like
Uh-huh.
you, this is not like atomic energy as an atomic bomb type thing.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't necessarily have to be that, but it's like all because atomic is just like at an atom level, right? At the level of the where you can see atoms.
Uh-huh.
And an atom is made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons.
Uh-huh.
So those are like subatomic at that point if you just looked at to that kind of smaller level. Um, so like when you look at like a carbon atom, it will have like that tetrahedral shape.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Oxygen would not have a tetrahedral shape. Ideally, it will have a shape, but then like it will have two free electrons versus carbon that has four free electrons around in a tetrahedral shape, like a triangular pyramid. Basically, that's what that shape is, right? Um, so it's like stuff like that, right? And then based off all that stuff, like that's your atoms, right? This is chemistry lesson at this point. Um,
Uh,
but what
Mr.
they would refer to this would be like, I would say at best carbon dating, or number two, if they're bringing up nuclear energy
M-
to do some sort of testing.
M- sorry, Mr. Yes, I have a question regarding atomic energy. What do you mean by atomic energy? Is it natural energy or made by the human being at the moon? Atomic
Well,
energy?
like I
Yes.
don't, so what they're doing on the moon, I have no clue, right? But like in terms of atomic energy, it's like I said earlier, there's fission and there's fusion, right? Fission is when you have the atoms break apart and then there's energy that comes out of that. Versus fusion is when you combine atoms together and then there's energy that results from that.
Mm.
Okay. Vision and
Fusion. Like this is stuff that you can learn
fission.
from a chemistry book. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
for vocab lessons here, right? It's
Mm.
fission
Uh,
and
is it
fusion.
all all this in at the moon? Hello.
Give me a second. And fusion combining. Come on. I need to type better. But basically that's what that is, right? Fission and fusion. It's not it's for the you have that on your screen.
And for example, Dan, these interviews say in this time use a lot energy, a lot for destroy these buildings. But you say is different. Maybe it's the reason
Well,
for
because
use a
like
lot.
an atomic bomb is different from an atomic energy, right?
Okay.
Because like the go right?
Uh-huh.
Versus energy is like you're
Yeah.
using the energy to do stuff.
Mm,
Like you can
Yes.
power up your, you could have like a energy that uses to provide fuel or to basically energize something, like to so that you can use that energy, convert it into electricity, convert it
Electricity.
into heat, convert it into
Mm.
whatever, right? To help run whatever it is that needs running.
it's very
Yeah,
interesting
so
your
that's
opinion.
what that means. So, um, not anything atomic or nuclear has to deal with a bomb, right? That's not what that means. Um, you can use energy you can use energy to do a lot of things, right? We have gasoline to help or petrol, right?
Mm,
For you to drive your car, right? That's energy, right? Solar, the sun provides energy, which gets captured in a solar um, panels, right?
mhm,
And then from the solar panels, they convert that because there's kind of a um, chemical reaction within the panels that
mhm,
convert that. So this deals with like what this is combination of osmosis like type of reaction. I forget what it is, but then like it's kind of like that's why like battery cells have chemicals in them, right? It's the same idea where like, like then it converts that energy into like electricity so that then you can run things. So it's basically like it's a battery, right? But then you get the energy from the sun. That's what solar power is. Um, Wind power, right? Like the cranking of the windmill and then that motion creates or generates energy because you're using the motion to generate the heat. It's like no different than like if you were on your bicycle and you were pedaling really fast, right?
mm,
And then the energy created from your pedaling, you can convert that into electricity.
mm,
So if you actually hook up your stationary bicycle the right
mhm,
way, then like you can generate the electricity from pedaling really fast and then have that energy converted so that it then gets stored into a battery. Let's
mm,
say like, your um like if you have a portable battery, right? One of those USB portable batteries, something uh like something like this, for example. See, USB,
mhm,
right? So then like you know, if you somehow do something with your setup right, then you can just be like, oh, my portable battery is dead. What do I do? Hook it up to your electric bicycle. Just start pedaling really
yes,
fast and then
yeah,
charging up your battery.
yes,
It'll be like the most foolish thing to do, but you at least get good exercise out of it.
yes,
But yeah, like something like that, right? So it's just energy, right? And then there's ways to convert energy from one form of energy to the next. The thing about energy is that when you convert from one form of energy to the next, you don't have 100% efficiency. You're going to lose some energy along the way, but when you convert from one form to the next form, that's just kind of how that works. Um, like it's not guaranteed to stick around like that. Like for example, like some of it might turn into heat, which is also kind of like an energy, and then heat then just dissipates into the air, right? Um, so. there's a bunch of things that's considered like energy. Like fire in itself is energy, right? Uh,
Yes.
but yeah, so all this stuff about atomic energy and such going to the moon, uh, it's not anything that's dangerous. The only thing, if anything, you were to think about regards to that would just be like if you were to do atomic energy testing or nuclear energy testing, then like, all right, then maybe that might be something to think about. Um, but yeah, let's see. Um, space mission,
But for
atomic.
example, Dan, you believe this change in the moon is true or it's possible?
The what? What's possible?
The change the moon.
Change the
The
moon?
yes the this report say they use the atomic energy or energy for destroy the house, the other things in the moon.
Well, you have to build a house on the moon first, and then you
Yeah.
destroy it, which that just the building of the house takes long time.
Yes, the
But then like,
other people they live in the moon.
what do you mean by there's people living there? There shouldn't be people living on the moon.
Yes, but the report say the people before the men going to the moon live in the moon
Yeah,
and
but
use destroy for the
because like,
use the energy for destroy these buildings.
well, like how do you live on the moon?
I don't know, but
You
the
see,
question is the question.
like
No, the
because
question
it's
is
like,
the going to destroy the building.
that's the first question I would ask, right? It's like how do you live on the moon? Where's the oxygen coming from? It's not like
Mhm.
Earth where like you have an atmosphere that then holds chemicals like oxygen to stay on Earth, right? Because you have a layer called the ozone layer that
Yeah.
helps to kind of like block, certain harmful rays of light coming in, but also too, it also holds a lot of your gases to stay within the Earth.
Hmm.
Otherwise, all those gases, like there's without that bubble, like all those gases just goes off and flies off into space, and there's like nothingness, right?
Yes.
You have nothing to breathe. That's already the first problem. How do you live with because you have to be able to generate oxygen from somewhere. For us, it's easy. We have trees that turns carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight, the like the photosynthesis process, right? To generate oxygen and sugar. You see?
Yeah.
Where and then we in turn, we breathe in the oxygen and we breathe out the carbon dioxide for the trees to breathe in, right? That it's a symbiotic system between us and plants, which helps us
Yes.
to live. Where's the plants on Earth, on the moon,
On the moon.
right? You like what kind like is the soil on the moon even able to hold to have trees? Does it have the nutrients for that? Topsoil, right? Does it
Hmm.
have carbon dioxide and oxygen for it to have plants and trees? Like there's no self-sustaining anything, right? At best, the only thing you could try to do is like if you create a big dome and then have everything under that dome and then try to plant lots of trees and have, animals, right? And then start
Hmm.
to create all these gases to be under this dome. Maybe you might have life on the moon,
Yeah.
but that is something that takes so much money to do.
Yeah.
They would not like so unless it's like, like if you believe in like the right and
Mhm.
they have all this money and they've been funding this thing for like decades. Okay,
Yes,
sure. Maybe, right? But
maybe.
outside of that, it's like who the hell's doing this? How the hell do you live on the moon? It doesn't actually make sense to me.
That doesn't make sense.
Like I know how you can make how you can make sense out of it. But then like who would be doing this? Because if it is happening, okay, cool. But if it's not happening, then it's like, well, then
Mhm.
there's a way for it to happen. It's just that somebody needs to do it. But who would want to even do that, and why would they even want to do it? You know?
Yes,
Like you
yes,
basically would not have a reason because like what is on the moon for you to even want to live there? Like what incentive do you have to want to live on the moon?
yes.
Because like if you're on the moon, you're just going to be swinging around all year long by your lonesome. There's not going to be as many people, right?
You're gonna get bored
You're going to get bored,
because
yes.
yeah.
Because where's the entertainment, right? Unless like you have really good signal for the internet and then you can watch your entertainment up there and it's like, okay, fine, right? So like the people or persons or whatever like that would even end up in the moon like that would be freaking rich.
Yes,
Yes,
Or they have someone very rich to send them up in the moon to live that way for
yeah.
some reason,
It's the
right?
same the people
that's
going
right.
to the Elon Musk, no? Tiny your chips.
Well,
This
like
lady out the earth.
I mean, like look at Elon and the there's three guys, right? There's Elon, there's Jeff Bezos, and then there's the third guy,
Bezos.
right?
Mhm.
Who's the three men doing space mission? Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Richard Branson. Yeah. So these are like the billionaires that were trying to do space stuff,
Mhm.
right? Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Richard Branson. I don't know who the hell well, let's see. Let's see. Richard Branson. What was he famous for? Um,
But yes, it's a lot money for going to the moon.
yeah. Richard Branson, an English business magnate who
Magnet.
co-founded the Virgin Group.
Ah, yes, the Virgin Group. Yeah.
Oh, so he did like Virgin music and then Virgin
Yes,
the
is the
airplane.
man that buy the songs, the Beatles.
Okay, so he has the airplane, he has the music. Okay, got it. That's who he is. Okay, that makes more sense. Because he does airplanes and like it's not that hard of a conversion from airplane to spaceship.
Yeah.
Okay, makes total sense now. Cool. Um, but yeah, so it could be people like that that would be in possible to do something where they can have a house on the moon, um,
Yeah.
or living area on the moon, right? But um, outside of them, it would just be very rich governments that would do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe this.
But like the thing is like, so if you want to get into the conspiracy theories of like of space and stuff, how are you gonna have plants grow on the moon, right? So let's do something for fun,
That's a question of big.
right? So here's something for fun. Let's get out of TikTok stuff and let's focus on this, right? Um, what is the soil like on the moon? Lunar soil or lunar regolith is a fine powdery and abrasive dust formed by millions of years of meteorite impacts crushing surface rocks. Unlike Earth soil, it contains no organic matter. It's electrically charged and consists mainly of basalt, plagioclase, and glass fragments produced by impact.
But what is Clio class?
Well, so the first thing that is there's no organic matter. That means there's no carbon.
Mm-hmm.
So what is this? Is the most common group of rock-forming feldspar minerals. So sodium, aluminum, silicon, oxygen, or calcium, aluminum, silicon, oxygen. Um, Appearing white, gray, or transparent with 6 to 6.5 moles hardness, found globally in igneous, so basalt,
Basalt
granite,
and rain.
metamorphic rocks, and is identified by Parnell straight. Okay, so this is kind of like a kind of non-carb carbon compound that you when you study rocks, like this is one of those minerals that would be part of that. That's basic. That's the best I could try to explain with. So like with rocks, like you have like if you just was to pick up a rock, right? This type of compound might be in that rock or something to that effect. I guess that's the best way to explain it. Um, Not all rock will be like this because maybe there's some carbon. Um, Matter or organic matter in it because organic chemistry is basically the chemistry that studies things that have carbon in it. That's just why it's called organic chemistry. Anything organic means like it contains carbon. Um, but yeah, like uh, if we were to look at images, how about that? So yeah, that's what this thing is. Like if you were to take a rock, it's these type of things. So basically, kind of hard for a plant to survive on the moon if this is what you have, because usually for soil has or does soil have organic matter? Let's see. Does earth soil contain organic matter? Yes, earth soil contains organic matter. It's a critical component, typically making up about 5% of healthy soil alongside mineral, air, water, and microorganisms. Soil organic matter, SOM, consists of plant and animal residue in various stages of decay, microorganisms, and carbon compounds that improve soil structure, nutrient availability, and water retention. So, um, does trees need organic matter in the soil to survive. Yes, trees need organic matter in the soil to thrive, though it is not their direct source of food, which is carbon dioxide and water. Organic matter improves soil structure, increasing water holding capacity, and provides a slow release source of nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which are essential for growth. So, um, if none of this makes sense, I'll translate, right? What this means is like, let's see. Let's ask another question. Can trees survive on lunar soil? Plants, including potential trees, can germinate and grow on lunar soil, regolith, if provided with water, nutrients, and an Earth-like atmosphere. However, they cannot survive directly on the lunar surface due to vacuum conditions, extreme temperatures, radiation, and lack of organic nutrients, which cause high stress
Yes,
and
yes.
stunt growth. You see? So what this all means is that you have to create a very particular situation in order for trees to even grow like this at all. So if you're going to use lunar soil, then imagine, right? Like what you do is you have this big old dome in this one area of the moon, right? And you also need to give it a way to give it sunlight. So ideally, you want this on the part of the moon that always has the sun, because the way the moon rotates and moves around the Earth, right? The the light side of the moon always stays light, and the dark side of the moon always stays dark because it just moves and rotate in the same way, right? So
Mm.
you want to have a dome that's clear to allow sunlight to go through so that the trees will have sunlight from the sun, right? You need to somehow bring water up to
Yeah.
the moon to water the plants.
Hmm.
But to keep on a to keep a consistent flow of water, that's difficult because where the hell do you do that? Right? You would
Yeah.
need something that will help generate water. So you somehow need to artificially create the water system on the moon. But in order to do that, you need an atmosphere, which ideally, if you create that dome, then that would be an artificial atmosphere of a sort, right? And then somehow you need to like, but the dome has to be one, big enough, and two, you have to make it so that it allows for this the formation of water to become water vapor, to go up into the sky. Then it condenses because it's too cold when you're high in the sky and high pressure, and it starts to rain. And then it rains down. So literally you have a dome where like sometimes clouds are forming and it hits the top of the dome and then it can't go up any further and it keeps on condensing and it starts to rain down on you. And then everything dries up because the sun will then make everything heat up again. And then the water will turn back to water vapor and it goes back up into the dome again and turns into. So that's your water cycle. You would literally need to somehow create so that the water cannot leave that dome at all. And it cannot go even underneath the dome to go outside. You need to have it really secure, right? So it would be something like that. And so you need to have that water cycle to be created. That's going to take decades or years to try to create something like that, right? You need to make sure there's enough trees so that it has like a way to retain the water or water vapors in some way or form, right? Um, because um, sometimes like the heat of things, I don't know, gets trapped into trees, something like that. You'll need to have living beings that are not plants to be on the moon that can generate the carbon dioxide for the plants. So like humans or animals, right? So you literally need to recreate everything that's on Earth onto the moon. You have to
Yeah.
play God literally to
Mm.
to control the weather.
Mhm.
That's freaking difficult.
Yeah,
Where's the resources to do all that stuff and the time?
maybe in the future.
Because the idea would be like if we were to live on Mars, this is essentially what you have to do on Mars. You literally need to create like a big old dome and you need to create an ecosystem and a water cycle slash temp slash weather system. And then this thing would work, right? Otherwise, like you cannot artificially generate any of this stuff.
Yeah.
But then this all depends on having carbon atoms, which none of these, like the moon doesn't have it from the looks of it, right? And like if you go to Mars, maybe it doesn't have carbon atoms either. So like where the hell do you go, right? Um, maybe there is a way where you can have life without carbon atoms, but for our experiences as Earthlings, that's a effing hell no.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. So like it to try to buy into some of these ideas, it's like, well, where is it coming from? And like how would you make this work? Like I could see it's possible, but you have to have lots of money to do this.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. It's very
Otherwise,
interesting.
because like and on top of that, you cannot do this by yourself. You somehow have to have enough resources to try to get this going. So, like it's a very difficult project. And I don't believe that like this is something that is going on right now. But if it is going around right now, then somebody had lots of money to spend. That's
Yeah.
just what that means. Either it's a billionaire or it's a government doing this. So yeah, hope that helps you spur up some thoughts and feelings on this.
Yeah. I remember other other video in relation to this project.
Yeah,
I- And say you remember the movie The Mechanic Orange?
Mechanic Orange.
Yes, the famous director. I don't remember the name, but the movie is very, very, very interesting.
Hmm.
In Spanish, it's Naranja Mecánica, but I don't know the correct traduction.
Yeah, the orange mechanic from the sound of what you're saying, or at least to translate it.
But these videos say it exists on YouTube. The director this movie make the videos the astronauts the Armstrong and the other astronauts
Hmm.
and in I don't remember the what year that and say the in your voice in your words say the man not going to the moon.
Mm.
But that it's my curiosity, no? This director said the not going to the moon, and the other this person say the make construction in the moon. But the time is very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank very
Well,
very relaxing.
hopefully my explanation of the whole moon stuff will give you a better idea of what's realistic.
Yes, it's very interesting. I read in and you
Yeah.
say things important. In my case, I believe this you're building another world, put the oxygen, put the animal, I think this is
Like the
very,
only other way that this would work is if we all were robots.
yeah,
Because if we're
maybe.
all are robots, we don't have to care about oxygen and food and stuff like that. The only thing we would care about is energy. So if you attach a solar panel to our body and then just make sure that we go to the light side of the moon, and then all we need to do is turn our backs and then let the solar power panel charge up our body, right? Or maybe not charge our back, but it could be solar panels all over our body. You go to the light side of the moon and then just soak up all the solar energy and just then we can just keep on going, right?
Yes.
Like, but
You
that
remember
but that's the
this idea is the first idea the Elon, no? They
the what?
say the Elon, this is the first idea they make the cities in the moon and use the robots, and
Well,
the same robots make other robots for living the moon.
well, like the thing is like where do you get the material to do it? And then
Yes.
like what materials on the moon can you do or can you use to even do that stuff? Because some of those materials has to be very specific. For
Uh-huh.
example, like you might need silicon for like the chips to be made, right? You'll need to have like plastics to have like motherboards and stuff like that, or other types of metals
Yeah.
for the motherboard, right? To even have like that kind of I guess just like just all of that just so that you can build your robot. Because the outer material and stuff, okay, like maybe that might make sense, but
But
like it will take a
yes,
lot of refining
yeah.
because when we were looking it up earlier, right? It's sodium, aluminum, silicon, oxygen. And somehow you
Uh-huh.
need to refine all of that to like one alloy of metal so that you can build the exterior of the robot so that it has a body. That's freaking hard to do.
Yes, this, but it's interesting.
Maybe it's doable, but then I would imagine like if you had the robots made on Earth and then brought up to Moon, and that makes more sense. But if you're gonna try to make the robots out of materials that's on the moon, that's pretty difficult because you're very limited.
Hmm.
Or that like you just have different materials that you don't like yet you don't know how to work with, which is still a limiting factor. Um, so I wouldn't buy into a lot of these ideas about like how we could possibly be doing things on the moon. Like unless you dished out the money to do it secret and technically you don't have the money with you now because you secretly knew how to like to stash it or store it somewhere. Like ideally, I don't think many of this works out.
Yes, it's very incredible the advance in technology.
Yeah.
For example, say that Google they put the in the space the base of death in this year, and try
Okay.
to put the base of death in the space, and it's very interesting. No? I don't know what we use for put the base in the space, but in this year, I'm trying to put.
Well, I wouldn't know either. Like what in terms of what you're talking about, putting a base or like a base station or something like that. Because
Yeah,
like I said, it takes a lot of building, and you have to literally import things from Earth to go to the moon in order to sustain that base station.
yeah,
And that's the hard part. So you still need, you know, this is why like some of the spaceships, when they go up to the moon and do those space missions and stuff and have astronauts, a lot of those space stations or like a lot of those like spaceships will have like organic material so that you can grow your food and things of that nature. And somehow you have a way of you have a water system where like you drink water and then you eventually need to go pee. And then you take your pee and you filter it out and you clean it. So now you have water again to drink, which sounds weird, but that's how the water system works.
Yes. Yes, it is. I
Uh,
think in this year the world changed.
sorry about that. Okay, so um, it's kind of like a lot of those ideas, I think it's just really difficult. Like you really need to put in a lot of effort just to get that going. And maybe there is something going. I don't know, but um, it's just really hard to sustain that kind of life.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then like once that happens, right? Then the next question is who owns the moon? And that's when things get political because every country be like, hey, you cannot own the moon. Like we want like we were there too, right? So it gets very difficult from that point from that standpoint. There's so many layers of things that you can delve into when it comes to space, right? There's like the limiting factor of resources. There's the ability to make life sustainable. There's the political side of territory.
Yes.
Like really, what the hell is on the moon that people need?
Yeah.
Because if there's some sort of very special mineral or sorry, very special like material or resource that's on the moon, essentially you just figure out what the like how that's made up. And then you could synthetically make it on Earth. You don't have to go to the moon for that stuff anymore. Why mine for something and spend so much money just to fly to the moon when you can study its components and just remake that component on Earth if you really need that material? What is the
Yeah.
point, right? It would be pretty expensive to create that material, but it's a lot more freaking cheaper than going up to the moon,
Yeah.
right? So there has to be like in order for you for someone to like really go to the moon just to stick around and do all that stuff would mean that like whatever that resource is made up of a particular atom or chemical or chemical that is not found on Earth, right? That's the only reason why you'd even want to even pay attention to the moon at that point. Otherwise, it's more of a strategic area for people to stay for whatever reason, which could be political, could be scientific, could be whatever. So
Mhm.
if it's at that point, we just, just leave it be to the powers that be to deal with that stuff. But yeah, so that's why I don't want to go into like a lot of conspiracy theories related stuff because I understand what it would take for someone to be able to live on the moon, but it's very costly. Like
Yeah.
you can't just stay on the moon for the rest of your life without returning back to Earth. I don't think that's a thing, a reality yet. Um, it will take a lot more work just to develop that type of atmosphere. But
Yeah.
robots can do it.
It's very interesting,
Yeah,
these things, but and try to know reading more things.
yeah,
But it's interesting.
yep.
Okay.
So, Juan Franco, you said you had a question?
Yes, it's
Okay, so what's your question?
is your the opinion, Tang. What is
Okay.
your opinion? The you believe the Elon Musk changed the moon?
Do I think Elon Musk
Yes,
changed the
Elon Musk.
moon?
Yes, you know the going to the people and the moon for change and
What
put
what do
robots
you
in the
mean by he
future.
changed the moon?
Put the robots in the moon
Oh, do
and
I think
put
he puts robots onto the moon?
and make one city in the moon.
Well, if he did that, then politically speaking, that might be difficult.
Why?
So this whole thing about space exploration
Mm-hmm,
is, when you think about it politically, it's tough because there's competitions with the
mm-hmm,
Russians and the Chinese and the
mm-hmm,
Indians, I think now are in the race too. And there's probably other groups that are trying to explore space.
mm-hmm.
But I don't think no one entity are claiming specific areas because
Yeah.
otherwise then you will have territories up there,
Yes.
which could lead to this eventuality of space wars, which I don't know if we're ready for that kind of thing yet.
Uh, in the reports on the interviews say they try to find the dark side, the moon,
Yeah,
and the dark side put the city
yeah.
and put the first robots, and the robots make the city, and
Well,
the robots make other robots for make the big city.
yeah. So the idea to this is that even if that's a thing, right? Other countries would be able to see it, which will
Yeah.
mean that like if they think Americans are taking over certain parts of the moon, monkey see, monkey do. If one person does it, they'll do it too. You see? So that means they will want to do it as well.
Yeah.
So this is why it's tougher politically speaking. This is basically Gundam. So for those that don't know, right, Gundam is kind of like a big giant robot type of anime,
Uh-huh.
but like the storyline of it has a lot of um, political and war uh, type of drama to it, right? Because they're battling for territories in space. Especially if you go into like Gundam Wing, so you have the Earth Sphere Alliance trying to take over everybody, and then you have other groups that start to come in and try to then dominate and
Mm-hmm.
eventually try to even take over space. And the space colonies were not having it, and they were like, "Hey, we want our independence," right? So it gets very political of what happens there. Like this is why mentioning you will you will eventually have space wars, and I don't think we're ready for that. You know, it's very tough. In one part of the anime, like there's one group occupying the whole moon,
Uh-huh.
and other groups then start to fight that group on the moon for territory. Like it's not just like, oh, you can just go there whatever you want and just do whatever you want. That's not how it is. It's literally the wild, wild west where anything goes. So
Mm,
you're not safe. So another country could attack you and hey, like, where's jurisdiction? There is no jurisdiction, right? And then it's gonna turn into like one big war. You literally would have to have a whole bunch of giant robots, just like Gundam, and have each other fight each other.
Or maybe thank other country is the same idea. Put robots in the moon
Well,
and have the particular
But
party
but
the moon.
like I said, right? If one country does it,
Yes.
other countries will want to do it,
Yeah.
which will mean they will fight for territory. You're gonna have war in space.
Hmm.
I don't like so the idea of this even happening right now, it could happen, and that just means that we'll end up in space war a lot faster. But I like honestly, I don't think that's a thing yet. I think this is the thing that they're looking to do.
Hmm.
But I don't think you can officially do this because you have other countries to consider.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Of
this is why the
course.
same thing with Mars,
Hmm.
right? It will
Yes.
be the same thing.
Yeah.
Like no one country can try to claim it. You can explore it and understand it, but I don't think you can try to claim it. So just to try to do anything on Mars would be, or even on the moon, right? Like I think it's really tough.
Hmm.
Okay, and take care, Kazuko. Hope you enjoy
Thank
your
you very
lunch.
much.
Yeah.
See you next time all.
See
Thank
you next
you.
time. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on that one. Like, if it does happen, then good luck to all of us. It'll be World War III,
Yeah.
Mm.
But
which
it's
I
very
don't.
interesting the idea, no, Tang? For example, the idea the Google they put the base of dates in the space in this year. It's very
Well,
interesting.
because like the idea of trying to create a base up there, and let's say there's an alliance with all the nations that
Hmm.
they cooperate with each other. Then
Yeah.
okay, like if you think about it maybe in that kind of way, then and nobody's fighting over anything, then that might not be bad. Like it's the idea of just exploring it. But
Hmm.
most likely you might find some resources there. And the moment that happens,
It's
people
other.
may want to fight for it,
Yeah.
right? There might be certain materials in those like either the moon, Mars, or whatever type of astral body or not astral, but any type of like, you know, bodies in space that could be used. So so in the like I'm gonna go use Gundam again, right? In the anime Gundam, they have something called Gundanium alloy, which is supposed to be the strongest alloy or strongest type of metal. So that even if you shot a rocket at it, it doesn't do anything good. It's supposed to be really strong. So the idea to this is that the use of that resource will then tip the balance of war because those that have weapons made of gadolinium alloy, especially big giant robots, would be deemed as almost invincible because they're hard to destroy. So
Wow.
yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
Do you
So
think is in the reality you have this kind of robot, this
no,
kind
no, no,
of
no, no.
technology?
Like this is the anime Gundam.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yep. So in the anime Gundam, they have something called Gundanium alloy, right? So that's kind of the idea to this, right? So like, let's say that like if they go out into space and they actually discover this, we're gonna have a fight.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you for your answer, my friend Tang. It's
yeah.
very
You're welcome.
interesting. Okay.
Yep.
Th-
So
th-
other than that, I'm just gonna end the meeting because I think that's enough
yes.
enough for that topic.
Yes, Tang. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. And hey Anastasia, we're gonna end the call. So if anything, take care, all right?
Thank you for the story. It was so interesting to listen to you. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
no worries. Thank you for joining us and at least being able to participate a little bit because, that's the most important part. Okay,
Yeah.
so take care, everybody. Hope everybody enjoyed this meeting,
Thank
and
you, Tang.
hopefully, I'll do a better job or try to
Okay.
make sure that the Facebook event actually pops up. Um, but with that, take care. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye, Anastasia. Bye.
Keep it.